Often when a person becomes concerned to try and improve in his deen, to try and progress, so mashallah, the person starts making some effort, he starts becoming more conscious of his amal. This is obviously a very great thing, very noble thing. But what is very clearly understood from the lives of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, and in particular from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that as much as the effort was made to pass on the word of Allah Ta'ala, to bring people towards deen, it wasn't just the effort, but that effort was coupled with not just dua, but dua of a very, very high level, and very deep dua, excessive effort in dua as well. So it was not a one-sided thing, both things went hand in hand. Very great effort. Inna laka fin nahari sabhan tawila. The Quran Sharif, Allah Ta'ala describes this effort of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that during the day you have a very long day of effort. The sabhan tawila refers to this long day of effort. But before that long day of effort, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, that stand in the night in worshipping Allah Ta'ala, except a little bit. And nevertheless then that was decreased a little and made a little lighter, but the point is that a good amount of time would be spent in dua. And among the most important occasions, like the occasion of Hajj for example, it was spent entirely in dua. On the day of Arafah, the Muhaddiseen estimate that the dua of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam extended for approximately, if you count the times that we all put together, more than 5 hours were spent in dua alone. Now, many a times we do become conscious of our amal, of trying to do more in terms of our amal, in trying to progress in that regard. But a similar effort, some proportion of that in dua, that doesn't happen. So the dua is made, but in a very, very just by the way kind of manner. Just some time after namaz we'll raise our hands, we'll just spend a minute, 2 minutes. There needs to be some dedicated time for dua. And dua is after all the key, because everything will happen with the permission of Allah Ta'ala, will happen only with His grace and mercy. And in dua, a person is connecting himself directly to Allah Ta'ala and asking and begging of Him. So when we are convinced that nothing will happen and we will not be able to take one step of progress without Allah Ta'ala's help, but we don't ask Him, we don't beg of Him, so then we are depriving ourselves of that mercy, of that grace to move forward. So while that enthusiasm and that zeal is there to do a lot, but that has to be also accompanied by dua. And not just a person is saying something, he doesn't know what he's saying, his mind is somewhere else, his heart is somewhere else. Dua is asking, it's begging. Dua is not just reciting, dua is begging. We might have all seen a person begging at a street corner, begging somewhere, and he's desperately asking for that few coins. But for those few coins that he's desperately asking, how he humbles himself and how he will try and convince the person to please part with those coins, whereas what will come sometimes will just be a coin or two. So now for that few coins, that person has made himself a complete picture of humility, and he's asking in a way that somebody who doesn't want to give him also, his heart will melt and give him. Now that is the aspect that's required in dua, to humble oneself in front of Allah Ta'ala and to beg of Him. When a person will make this a part of his tarteeb, part of his daily routine, to dedicate some time for dua and ask in this manner, then he will inshallah see the help of Allah Ta'ala in all his efforts. Then what seemed impossible, now he sees the road opening out. Prior to that he was relying only on his effort, relying only on his ability. But now he realizes it's not my ability, not my effort, it's Allah Ta'ala's permission and His mercy and kindness, then anything can happen. Allah Ta'ala gives.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।